Tokyo Revengers is kind of like boba tea. You start drinking it, it's just, it tastes so good. Bam! A bunch of big black balls you just guzzle down, smack you in the back of the throat, ruining your experience. Now, you might really like the big black balls, or you might not. But does Tokyo Revenger balls ruin the anime? No, it's still a good anime, but the big black balls don't help it either, which sucks because it could be a perfect anime. Now, to make sure that we're all on the same page here, Takemichi time travels back and forth to save his middle school crush and eventually all of his newfound friends by infiltrating this gang, stopping different important events from happening is basically the plot. Okay, cool, moving forward now. Tokyo Revengers has a lot of things going for it. For starters, it's a different take on time travel, which is very impressive because there's as many time travel stories as panty shots in anime. Yes, he can time travel back and forth from present to past at will, and this isn't a new idea at all, but he has stipulations. He can only time travel 12 years forward and backwards, and there's no in between, and whenever he does leave the present, his body is left in a comatose-like state, which forces him to return every once in a while. These are important details, remember them. Which brings us to our first set of black balls. Why don't they use this? Being forced to return to the present and missing whatever time you spend in the present in the past is such a good idea to set a double-sided war of one in the present and one in the past. Or at least something like this, like his mom's birthday is coming up, his dog died, he needed to crank one out for Christ's sake. Anything to bring tension to the story if he might miss something important while needing to step away to the future for whatever the reason may be. It just seems like a really big missed opportunity. Also, does anyone else find it a little odd that the trigger to time travel is touching this guy's hand, or in the past this tiny child's hand, which he had to scar this 6-year-old boy by telling him how he and his sister die in the future, and for some reason the boy just believes him, which granted, that's why he's alive, and I kind of ignored this because it's so anime that I've just grown numb to that kind of thing. Kind of like how there's bouncing Gooba in every anime. I don't know, just food for thought. I just kind of found it odd every time it happened. Am I the only one? Anywho, another thing Tokyo Revengers has going for it is its unique premise of dealing with delinquents. There's barely any anime out there that explore the idea of crime, let alone the ones of delinquents and yakuza, and the ones that do just kind of end up looking like this half the time. And since it's such an unexplored avenue, it leaves basically every door open to set the standards of stories to come in this new type of story.
Before you type that super angry comment, I know there are some, okay?
I now bring you to the second set of black balls. They are gang-banging middle schoolers. They are holding fighting rings, betting on winners, stabbing people, killing people, sleeping with girls. Not saying middle schoolers can't do this stuff, but my god, would it be so much more believable if they were at least like 17 or 18 instead of 13 and 14. Like at 13, my balls hadn't even dropped yet and I couldn't get off Minecraft long enough to think about a girl. It would also just make characters like Taiju so much more believable instead of just making the Dark Souls boss of middle schoolers, because 18-year-olds, they can look like this. 14-year-olds should look like Takemichi, which explains why he's constantly getting dogged on throughout the series, because he's a level 1 crook fighting a level 100 mafia boss. Which brings us to the third and biggest set of black balls for most people, and that is Takemichi cries a lot. Weak MCs are not a new thing, and many are very successful, like ReZero, and it's one of the biggest isekais out there. It's very successful, and I don't really think anyone has a problem with him being particularly weak. It's because he cries like every 3 episodes and is damn near useless in every scenario. Personally, the uselessness I think is used strategically, so when he does do something, it's much more impactful, and I do enjoy that, but the crying is just too much. He loses a fight, he cries. He wins a fight, he cries. He ruins his puzzle, cries. Wakes up, cries. Sees a girl, cries. I actually don't blame him for that one. Talking to women is hard. Honestly, it's not even the fact that he's crying, but it's like the boy who cried wolf. It loses all meaning. It's meant to be an emotional thing, like when your longtime friend gets shot in the head and dies in your arm. Crying in this scenario is very understandable and would really enhance the emotions, but homeboy over here cries so much it loses all effectiveness and ends up breaking the tension of the show for people, and it drives them away. And it sounds like I'm hating on Tokyo Revengers, and I am, but because I like it and want others to as well. Obviously some of this is nitpicking, like the whole time travel part. It's my opinion, but it's whatever. It wasn't the author's vision, oh well. But it's an irrefutable fact that the crying pushes people away, and I would like to say if you can just get past X amount of episodes, then you'll love the show, and they might. But if the crying's the problem, then it sucks, but you're probably never gonna like Tokyo Revengers. And I'm sure there's a group out there like myself that legitimately enjoy this show, but having the black balls in our mouths just hinders our experience. And because of that, it's never going to be a 10 out of 10 anime, but I do think it's gonna play a Dragon Ball-like role for future series. Tokyo Revengers is going to walk so others can run and make the show that we all do want to see. But if you're wanting some 10 out of 10 anime now, I talk about a lot of crickety shows on here, so subscribe and check out some more of my videos.